Today's message from Reverend Kimjera Whittington was recorded June 24th, 2018, and it's titled, Do You Want to Be a Superman? Affirming, God is My Source. And today we welcome back the spirit, talent, and voices of Janice Edwards and Nathan Fry. Come visit us at seasidecenter.org, the website, and you can join us in Encinitas, California sometime, where we always have great music, a spirited message, and a joyful, loving, vibrant community that await you.
I know that most of you probably recognize our guest artist today because they have been blessing Seaside for 9 years now with their incredible talents. And if you have not seen them before, I know you're going to love them. I know you're going to want to go out and see them again. And you can, because they have a standing gig at Martini's in Hillcrest every Friday night. So make sure you go and check them out there. This morning, would you please welcome Janice Edwards and Nathan Fry.
My sweet Lord, my Lord, my Lord, I really want to see you, I really want to be with you, really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord, my sweet Lord, my Lord, oh my Lord, I really want to know you, really want to go with you, really want to show you, Lord, that it won't take long, my Lord, hallelujah, my sweet Lord, hallelujah, oh my Lord, hallelujah, my sweet Lord, hallelujah, I really want to see you, really want to see you, really want to see you, Lord, I really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord, hallelujah, my Lord, hallelujah, oh my Lord, hallelujah, my sweet Lord, hallelujah, I really want to know you, hallelujah, oh, I really want to know you, hallelujah, yeah, I really want to show you, Lord, that it won't take long, my Lord, hallelujah, oh my Lord, hallelujah, my sweet Lord, hallelujah, yeah, my Lord, hallelujah. Really want to see you, I really want to see you, Lord, yeah, I really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, oh my Lord, hallelujah, my sweet Lord, hallelujah, oh my Lord, hallelujah, oh my Lord, hallelujah, yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, oh Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare, my
that got everybody going. Did you feel the energy of that? Thank you so much, Janice, Nathan, and Danielle. That was amazing. One more time. So it's so glorious to be standing here with you today. As mentioned, my talk title is, do you want to be Superman or Superwoman? Right? The talk titles get really long when you kind of drag them out, but it goes both ways. So I wanted to start by telling you a little story. So a little boy and his mom are at church, and they're heading out, and the little boy turns to the mom and says, Mom, I've decided when I grow up I want to be a minister. And the mom's like, that's fantastic, great. And then she thinks for a second, but why? And he says, well, I have to come to church every Sunday, and I'd rather stand up there and yell at people than sit here and listen. Right? So there's lots of reasons why we might want to become a minister. Yeah, that's not exactly the reason how it manifested for me. So most of you might know I graduated from the School of Ministry just this last, the 3rd of June. Yes, thank you. And so I still have tests to take, but I think that that's the glorious part, because that's all where you just get to share the knowledge that you've gained. But right now, what's happened is this journey of, and let me tell you, it is a profound journey. If they would have told me what was going to happen, I probably would have ran the other direction, quite honestly, because it is work to go through this process in a beautiful way, though. Not just the work of the classes and the studying and the testing and driving and commitments, but it's that inner work that you have to do that, again, they don't tell you about. It just happens. It unfolds. And so for me, part of that inner journey has really been this concept of, relationships changing and, family dynamics shifting and, career changes. And that fun one, having to deal with what triggers you, that's been a good one. So just feeling those triggers and having to decide, what am I going to do about it? I got to question myself, why am I so triggered by that right now? And what is coming up for me in this moment? And those are the times, I think, when we're really getting deep into our spiritual quest, our spiritual journey. And part of this process, for me and for many people, they say that most people on the quest of spiritual enlightenment tend to go through this period of time that's called the dark night of the soul. Have you guys heard of this before? Yeah. So this is the time when, you are so connected. You're connected to Source. You're connected to God. And you know God at this deep, deep level. And then there's this time throughout the process where things just kind of get darker because you lose this sense of connection and you can't find your way. And the whole concept is that as you go through this, you end up journeying back to your soul. You end up journeying back to who and what you really are at a deeper level. Now, let me share with you, the process of the dark night of the soul, it's not super fun. Most people that talk about it say that it can be very painful. It can be very deep because there's this work that's being done and you got to go through the work. And so for me, I've looked at lots of the traditions, and if you really study the history, every tradition pretty much has this concept of what this is within the tradition. So for example, I love Gnosticism because Gnosticism is the whole idea is the journey of you are coming from this spiritual source. Sound familiar? What we believe. And through that process, you take on this physical form. And when you are being and made in the image and the creation of the soul and of your true beingness, you are perfect. You know Source at the deepest level. And then you take on this physical form, and it's almost like a process of forgetting takes place on purpose. That's what they believe. It's on purpose. You forget your true nature because the whole concept of living is to journey back to that deep knowingness. They believe that this knowledge is where you're profoundly meant to be, and not an intellectual knowledge, but a knowingness within. So through that, you also have the Upanishads and in Hinduism, and they're teaching that Radha is constantly searching for Krishna, and there's this love that's taking place, and unfortunately, Krishna loves then leaves. Right? So that happens. And in the Sufi tradition, you have this longing for the union with the beloved. Do you notice the theme of the longing? Lots of longing happening. And I think the process that it is this longing, the journey of the longing is where you actually find the answer to the longing. It's going through it that you get to it. There's this wonderful Spanish 16th century mystic named John of Christ, and he talks about this as an awakening. He says this process is an awakening, which sounds really magnificent. I want to go through an awakening, right? But to go through the awakening, you have to go through the deadening process first. And through that process, you release your attachments to things. You release your attachment to the mind, to the body, to the stuff, to the material possessions. And as you release the attachments, you can get to the awakening. But there's always this process that you're moving through. And so as I've been going through this journey, I've really felt like it's been this gift, this profound gift, because if I'm going to stand up here and be able to commune and celebrate and teach and talk and share, I have to have experienced some of this in order to do that with a sense of wisdom and knowledge. And so it's been a gift, for sure. And so through that, I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about something that's a little bit deep. It's something that's affected me most recently. I've been seeing a lot of it in the news and the media, and it just really kind of touched me. And I felt like, it was something that we were just not talking about. So I wanted to start, if you're willing to go a little deep with me, with a couple numbers that I want to throw out at you. The first is 45,000. So according to the National Institute of Mental Health, a study was done by the CDC in 2016, and according to that study, 45,000 is the number of Americans that commit suicide every single year. Wow, right? That's more than double the amount of homicides that we have, which is only 19,000. The second numbers I want to give you are 2 and 10. So out of the age group of 10 to 34-year-olds, suicide is the second leading cause of death. And it's the 10th leading cause out of the age group from 35 to 54. Did you know that? And the last number I want to give you is 105. So 105 is the amount of people that actually take their own life every single day. Every day, 105. Now, I know I've been hearing a lot in the media lately, which is what really, really struck me. And I feel like it's something that I want to bring forth for us to talk about, because you see people that have been so beloved that it's happening to, like Robin Williams, who, I grew up on the era of Mrs. Doubtfire. Loved that movie. Made me laugh. And Good Will Hunting, where he made me cry. And he was just such a profound gift to us. And yet, at age 63, he left this world, but he did suffer from bipolar disorder and depression. And then you've got Kate Spade, who was just this profound energy. She's just creative, and this light in this world. And she did the same, but again, bipolar related depression that she suffered from. And then you had Anthony Bourdain. Like, who hasn't seen his shows on the Food Channel? And most recently, Heather Locklear tried and has luckily did not succeed. But, I'm bringing this to our attention because I feel like we need to talk about why. These public figures, it's suddenly happening to, but yet if you listen to the statistics I just read, it's happening every day to the people in our lives, to people we know, to people we share our time with, or our friends share their time with, and yet we're not talking about it. One of the things that I'm hearing as a common theme is this concept of mental illness, right? This concept of mental disease, and I think what's striking me profoundly is that we are closing ourselves off to having the conversation because it's not mainstream, because there's guilt, there's shame, there's fear, right? So we're not talking about what's coming up for us. But yet the spiritual truth behind it is that we can get to a healing in it. But first, we have to open ourselves up to being able to express it. And the truth is, it's difficult, right? It's okay, totally okay to have diabetes, right? You can talk about that and people can love you and support you and come to you. It's okay to have potentially an inoperable disease. Not that we want to have it, I'm not saying that, but we can talk about it. And people come to us and love us and support us and share with us. It's okay to have heart failure potentially, and that can be caused genetically when we end up in the hospital and we have a long stay, and people again come to our side and we talk to us and they bring us, love and cards and kindness and energy and warmth. But it's not okay to talk about depression. It's not okay to feel the energy of somebody who maybe ends up in the hospital because they have a nervous breakdown or because they suffer from alcoholism or drugs or, they need to get treatment. We're not talking about that. And it's not because we don't want to be. I think those that are going through it want to be, but there's fear there. There's this idea there that we're not quite sure what it means and how people are going to perceive us. So we just decide that it's easier to stay silent. But let me tell you what the spiritual truth in that is. If we stay silent, it gains power. And that's how the dis-ease comes about. We can't heal because we are giving our energy over to something that is outside of us and not something that is within us, which is the God presence that is already within. So that's what all these Eastern traditions teach. That's where Ernest Holmes got all of this, was that we can heal because if we go back to what I talked about in the beginning, our true nature of ourself, we are powerful. And we have the presence of the divine within. And so we don't need to go outside of ourselves, but yet we want to be talking about it. We want to be sharing what's going on with us with other people and feel okay to do that. There's somebody who is really fantastic that has started a nonprofit that I came across, and his name is Johnny Boucher. And the nonprofit, he's the CEO and founder of Hope for the Day. And this nonprofit has been built around this idea of bringing forth visibility, resources, and information to break the silence and the stigma. His concept and idea is that we need to be saying it's okay to not be okay. Now, I'm going to stand here and tell you that it's not okay to live in that place and to be the victim that we talked about, or that Carolyn did so beautifully talking about. We don't want to become in that person. But what we do want to do is be okay to talk about what we're going through so that we can then gain the source and the support from Spirit. Because when we release the power that it has over us, then we get to be and show up in our magnificence in a different way. And that's the power that we want to be tapping into. Right? You with me? Yes. All right. So I think that this pain and all of this comes a lot of the time from, like we talked about, the guilt, the fear. I think Brene Brown was onto something when she really, built, her books and her concept around the idea of shame and the idea of losing the sense of self. Another statistic that I read was out of all of the people who suffer from depression in the United States, half of them do get treatment. And out of the half that get treatment, 80 to 90% are treated successfully. That's powerful to me. Can you imagine if the other half were willing to say, hey, I'm a little off today, I'm not feeling so great, and I want to get the help that I need? Because through the process of that, we get to live in our glory because we're taking a step forward into our own well-being and saying yes to who and what we really are, which is this divine magnificence of Spirit. I think of it kind of like, I don't know, I used the metaphor earlier and I think the audience got it, but it's this concept of kind of like an old horror movie where somebody gets dropped, a girl or a boy gets dropped in the middle of a forest. and then they just start running, right? Because they're scared, but there's something behind them that is coming forth, and yet they don't know what it is, and then they can't see through the trees of where the road is, so they just start running. Are you with me? Yeah. So I feel like sometimes when we're kind of floundering, that's what we're doing. We're just running. We're just trying to head for as fast as we can in whatever direction we can. But I always say, I think it would be very interesting in one of those movies if just for a brief moment, the girl running just sat down. What if she just sat down, right? And she just decided, I'm going within. Right now, I'm going to trust something different because I don't know where the road is. Nobody's told me. I don't know what's chasing me. I don't know what direction I'm supposed to. I just sit down. I don't know. To me, I have those visualizations in weird ways. But I think the metaphor really is there that God has us, and that there is this powerful presence that is so much greater than who and what we know. And if we can find our way to that, we can find our way to our truth. Ernest Holmes says this. He says, remember that God is the silent power behind all things, and always ready to pour into our experience that which we need. God is the silent power behind all things, ready to pour into our experience that which we need. So I think if she did sit down, something would show up. Something would show up, right? Because that's how it's created. If we trust and surrender and give ourselves over to this great power, and we find that innerness within that knows, that knowingness that we talked about, nothing can stop us. You know, I'm very moved and touched by like Selena Gomez, who has come out with her struggle. She was diagnosed with lupus, and she came out saying that she has anxiety and depression because of it, and she's doing something about it. And those are the examples that really lift me up, because I think, that it's powerful, that we can make a difference and we can change the way that we are showing up, and that there are people out there doing it. And I think the more that we do that, the more we're going to say yes to this life. Say yes to this experience. Say yes to what we were handed. Because the road isn't easy really for anybody, but it's how we're showing up to it and how we're directing ourselves through it, and if we can find our way back to who and what we really are. I think the interesting part too is that the world a lot of times will say something's potentially wrong with us if we do have something going on. And I challenge that because I think that we are all these beautiful souls of the divine. And if you've heard me talk before, you've heard me say that God can't get it wrong. God can't get it wrong. Every single one of us have been created just the way that we are for a reason, to live this experience and to live this life. And so we are on the right and perfect path. And so imagine if we could show up for people in just a new and beautiful way. Like, what if we could redefine what it means to be successful? Right? What if we really take a moment, just think about that for a second. What is your concept of success? Is it money? Is it a car? Is it a house? Is it a great job? Is it a title? What is it? And what if success shifted in your mind, and now success is, did you make a difference in someone else's life today? What if success is the interpersonal relationships that you have in your life? What if success is how much you love yourself? How much you love yourself. Like, can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you? That's success. And if we start changing the paradigm and redefining what we believe, then it opens us up to so much greater possibility, because we're not being held back by the false beliefs and the falseness of the outer world, and we're living more from an inner world. I'm going to have Marv get ready to play this video. This is a young man that really, really affected me recently, because he graduated and he wasn't out for any, the way that this all went down was really God showing up to support him in his success, in, to me, a new definition of success. So Marv, take it away.
The picture of determination. Tens of thousands of people across the country are sharing this photo of a local high school graduate.
I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed.
A Max bus driver snapped the shot of Corey Patrick walking to the bus stop in full cap and gown to go to his graduation. His family doesn't own a car.
Corey was so excited that day.
And it turns out his big day wasn't the only day he took the bus. For the entire school year, Corey walked from his West End home to the bus stop to get to Tarrant High School. Corey leaves the house at 4 o'clock every morning so that he can make it to this bus stop by 5:41. School is all the way on the other side of town.
Some mornings I had to, nudge him a little bit, but he got up.
Corey gets up that early because he moved out of Tarrant last year.
I didn't want to go to a whole nother school.
His mother says they've hit speed bumps with finances, but nothing was going to keep her son from walking that stage.
I almost came to. It's been a long year, I finally accomplished what my goal.
And the day after graduation, Corey went to work.
Corey set that goal out to accomplish, and he did it.
So many people now reaching out to help. Corey says he wants to use the donations to go to college and get a car. What's your dream car?
My dream car is the Ferrari.
A teenager determined to live out his picture of success. In Birmingham, Marlene Martinez, WBTM 13.
So first off, you gotta love Corey's smile, right? I mean, it's just adorable. But what I love is, from this, Ricky Smiley, who is a local news radio personality there in Alabama, got wind of his story. And imagine, this was a bus driver. A bus driver snapped that shot of him running because he had been with him every single day as he went to school. And it snapped him going to his graduation, and that's what went viral. And they raised $11,000 for him to go to college. He got a car from Ricky Smiley, an SUV, and he got a full ride scholarship to Jacksonville University. And so I have so much hope. I have so much inside me that sees the magnificence of this world, of this universe, of where we are right now. And I truly believe that as we open ourselves up to accept all of who we are, right? All of who we are, no matter what is showing up for us, and we can say that it's okay to not be okay today, and have somebody pour in and love us and support us and lift us up, so that we can then let them have a day that it's not okay to be okay, or that it is okay to be okay. That's what we want to experience in life. That's what we want to be doing for each other, because when we can create a world like that, that is truly a world that works for everyone. And so in closing, I just want to remind us that as we move through this next week, to really take in how you are defining your life as success, how you are showing up. Can you be that light for other people? And what I'm going to do is, I was very blessed. I asked Nathan and Janice if they would be willing to sing this specific song, which was the inspiration for this talk, because this song has meant a lot to me, and it's by Rachel Platten, and it is called Superman. But if you listen to the words, I'd like you to this is my gift to you today, is listen to the words as if one of two things. Either you're talking to somebody who you know needs this message, who needs to feel like they are okay. Or listen to this message as God, Spirit, Universe, Infinite Intelligence speaking to you. Because I'm telling you, I have cried over this song. I have felt this song at the deepest core. And I just believe that that if we all could really hear it, we would know that we are sourced, we are supported, that God has us at our core, and that we can surrender anything and everything that is going on into that infinite intelligence. And we will have the most amazing, magnificent life. And so I bless you and I thank you. And so it is.
If I could break away half of all your pain, I'd take the worst of it and carry you like you carry me. You say that you're alright when tears are in your eyes. We're strong enough for this, and I need you. It's okay that you need me. So put your armor on the ground tonight. 'cause everyone's got to come down sometime.
You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to hold the world in your hands. You've already shown me that you can. You don't have to be Superman.
I know I've been gone too much. We talk about me too much. I'm selfish and distracted, but I'm here and I'm listening. And it's just you and me and these four walls. And we are only human after all.
You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to hold the world in your hands. You've already shown me that you can. Don't be Superman.
You rest your eyes now, take my hand. Even heroes fall down now and then. You can let it go.
You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to hold the world in your hands. You've already shown me that you can. You don't have to be Superman. Oh, you don't have to be Superman.